Kanna is grade 11 from Book Sheperd Matriculation School, and our topic is something very new. What is this Thamizhians take one space? He is going to explain. Let's welcome Sanjana. Yes, Sanjana, you can start.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Sanjana. So today I'd like to present on Thamizhians take on space. So there will be a lot of Tamil, so for all the non-Tamils out there, don't worry, I'll translate it into English. To start with Tiruvasagam. Tiruvasagam is one of the oldest literary works that was written during the Sangam literature, and there are like many subcategories and categories under this topic. So I've chosen only one category under this, that is Tiruvanta Pagudi. Tiruvanta Pagudi means the word Tiru in this particular phrase means vast. Vanda means space. So it means vast space. So the first stanza goes like Andam Pagudin Unda Pirakam, Alarparun Danme Varapperum Kachi, Undra Nindral Padarin, Nutro Kodi, Merpatti Virindana. This means that the space is infinite, it cannot be measured. It also says that the world started its prominence because of an explosion, and that explosion cannot be measured. It also says that's an intense explosion, it cannot be measured. This was written like 2500 years ago, okay, and the Big Bang theory was proposed in the year, I'll be letting you know later. So the
Sanjana, can you read it again one more time? That
yes, sir.
Unda Pagudin,
அட்டப்பகுதி உண்ட பிறக்கும் அலர்பெருந்தன்மை வளர்பெரும் காட்சி ஒன்றில் கொன்று நின்றல் பதிரின் நூற்றோர் கோடியின் மேற்பட்டு விரிந்தன. Okay. The last two lines of this first stanza is Illure Kadirin Tun Anukuraya Sirianoaga Perion Terium. This says about the atoms and molecules. It also says the smallest particle that one could find in the world is an atom. It also says the reaction that happens between the atom and the molecule. So he's Manika Vasagar, the one who wrote the previous poem, that is Tiruvasagam. He's G.U. Pope. I think you must have known this guy. He's
Sanjana, I think in the background the YouTube live is on.
so one
I can hear you double.
so one second.
I did not expect this. Wow, I just went wow as soon as I heard this.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
So as I was saying, he's Manika Vasagar, the one who wrote Tiruvasagam, and he's G.U. Pope, one of the greatest missionaries, the Christian missionaries. So what he did was, J.U. Pope, he came to India during the 1940s. Sorry, during the 1840s. He came during the 1840s. He translated Tiruvasagam into English, and then he went back to his place. Okay, and then in 1927, this guy, his name is George Lemaitre, the one who proposed the theory of Big Bang. So I hope you get the point that I'm trying to say. Like, I don't want to say it like apriye, but then I hope you get the point. Like, Manika Vasagar writes the Big Bang theory in the 6th century, and then you end up having the theory of Big Bang, which is being accepted worldwide, that this guy was the one who wrote it till date. So the next is so this is Vanir. These are like separate poems. That is different. This is different. Vanira Visimbin Ponin Surenda Vilangada Nair Endrum Totrathu. These two lines said that the sun was at the center and all the planets were revolving around it. It was previously believed that the earth was in the center and the sun was revolving around it, but this line says that it wasn't the earth, but it was the sun, which is the center of the solar system. And the last two lines of this poem says like Vanam Mulge Vayangoli Nedunchudar Kadirkaindi Edundam Ganagi Nayir. This says that the sun is a big ball of fire. It cannot be, touched. So we can never get, next to it. This is my favorite. So before moving on to this poem, I would like to say something. Like the significance of Tamil poem is that the poet usually gives an example so that the reader understands it in a better way. So first I like to start with the example and then go to the poem, or maybe I can do the vice versa. The நீநெறி விசும்பின் வளர்வென திரிதரு நான்மீன் விராய கோன்மீன் போல மலர்தலை மன்றதும் பலருடன் புழுகி கையினும் களத்தினும் மெய்யுற தீண்டி பெருஞ்சித்தனார் குரற்கோடா திருஞ்செருவின் இகன்மையின் பெனோர். So to talk about the example that is giving is there's a man who's like very brave, who's very like courageous, very strong. He's being attacked by a set of men. So what he does is he's just fights them back. He just wins the battle and he takes control over all those men. So that's the example. This example was given to the actual thing, that is the sun is the brave man. You know, the sun is taking control over all of the planets of the solar system, which is revolving around it. It's not only the planet's gravity, it's not only the elliptical path that makes it to stay in that particular position, but it's also the sun's gravity that influences the planet position. And that is what is being said in this poem. Next, here comes my favorite, Tirukural. As you all know, Tirukural was written like in the 6th century, but many people said that it was written during the 1st century. There's still a debate because the world is not accepting that it was written during the 1st century. So the first kural goes like Sudarendrum ஏற்பிலிது உலகம் அதனால் உழந்தும் உழவே தலை. Even though this kural predominantly says about the agriculture, but what we have to note is Sudendrum. Sudendrum means it refers to the movement of the earth, that is the rotation and the revolution. The meaning of the kural is the world is the world is taking a moment revolution or the revolution just because agriculture is happening. So imagine Tiruvalluvar had the knowledge of this space in the 1st century where like there were no technology at that point of time. Imagine like he was so knowledgeable, he wrote a kural about it. The last kural here is பிறர்க்கென முற்பகல் செய்யின் தமக்கென பிற்பகல் தாமே வரும். This means the Newton's third law. Basically, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Tiruvalluvar wrote it in a very spiritual as well as in a scientific way. It is up to us to take in what aspect. So all of you must have encountered this word, ulagam, which means the world. This word has come from the root word ulagu, which means rotation and revolution. Remember, like the Tamil is the oldest language in the world. Imagine people naming things because of the act that it did. How knowledgeable, how brilliant, intelligent they were, but we just failed to recognize their works. That is something that I want to tell it on behalf of like many students. So that's it. Thank you. Hope you all like my presentation. If you have any doubts, you can let me know.
Oh, I'm just amazed with the amount of content, the research, and everything. I think a lot of people have already questions they want to ask you. Students who want to ask questions, you can just type in chat box. I'll unmute you. You can ask. So, Harijit, yes.
You said that Tirukural, right? Tirukural is there are so many things like a part. There was divided as a part. Like in one part, there are 10 types of kurals are there. Which type it is?
Purilada. Oh, Sanjana, unmute yourself. Don't mute.
So as you said, like if I'm not wrong, there are like 1023 Tirukurals written by Tiruvalluvar. So there are many subcategories. Like there are Marundu, which says like 10 kurals about medicine, and this particular says about agriculture. So in the kural வந்து agriculture ஓட subcategory நீங்க போய் பாத்தீங்கன்னா you will get to know this. Clarify?
Okay.
Next.
If anyone want Sanjana to repeat any of those verses, she can do that. Yes. Yes. If you have any doubts, you can ask. I expect more questions from I shall just go. See copy please. So people have started asking copy of the presentation already. It's there live on YouTube. You can also message Sanjana. She's in the researchers group, guys. Okay, you can type your questions. So anyone has any doubts, you can raise your hands. I'm just amazed with the content, what she brought inside. Because Isha Sadhana has a question. Sadhana, I'm going to unmute you. You can just help to unmute. Sadhana, you can unmute yourself and ask. You should type.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can.
In the Tiruvasakam book, in which language did they write? In Tamil language or some other language like Sanskrit?
One minute. நீ mute பண்ணி அதை ஆட்டு. Unmute yourself. Now try now.
Yes, sir. So sorry, sir. So you asked like in which language you Pope translated it?
Tiruvasam, basically, she's asking whether it's Tamil book or Sanskrit.
Tirukkural வந்து it's a Tamil book. It was
Tiruvasakam, she asked.
Tiruvasakam. Tiruvasakam is a Tamil literature. It was translated into English so that many people know about it. So that is the intention behind the translation. It is known as Modi Peyappu in Tamil.
And we have Nivas saying, Nivas, I'll unmute you. You can share your thoughts. Nivas, unmute yourself. Yes, sir. Again, unmute.
Yes, Jagu, it is an awesome presentation, Jagu.
Yes.
And I appreciate Akka. You said in Tamil, it was a very understandable and easy, awesome Akka. Thank you for saying to us, Akka.
Okay, Kavya, you can unmute. And,
Thank you. That was really nice. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Kavya, I unmuted you. You can. I have a lot of people messaging in chat box. I liked your presentation. Can you let me chat with Sanjana? Hey, chat பண்ணலாம்டா. Chat is open. You guys can chat with everyone. Riyansh, great work. Nice. Super. I think Avinash is back. Okay, that's let's give a huge round of applause for Sanjana. That's a brilliant presentation. I'm going to cut this part and separately also put it on Vaayusastra because this needs to reach a lot of people. If people say certain this recent science are like I think 200 years old, from 1800 lot of things explored, but for past 2000 years we had lot of knowledge but it's not been explored. So I want a lot of people to explore that. So Sanjana, enakaga and the first mattum can you repeat it?
Yes,
The
sir.
Big Bang theory.
Yes, sir. Can I screen share?
Yes, please.
அண்டப் பகுதியின் உண்டப் பிறக்கும் அளப்பெரும் தன்மை வளப்பெரும் காட்சி ஒன்றைக்கொன்று நின்றிடல் பதரின் 100 கோடியின் மேற்பட்டு விரிந்தன.
And to give more information on Sanjana, she's a Bharatanatyam dancer, right?
Yes, sir.
So she knows, and she's one of the interns. We are taking her in for our new thing we are trying to do. That's science through dance. So that news will be soon. Will be up. Shruti Rukmani is saying that's what makes it even more special. Okay, thank you, Sanjana. Let's bring in our Avinash is back.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.